StorySlam. Give it up for Shannon Haddock, everybody.
I believe that only young love hurts. Why is that? Because young love is stupid love. Like S-T-O-O-P, you get it. And there's so many hormones going through us. How can we make rational decisions when we're young? You know, these raging emotions. How can we be anything but emotional? Well, you know, I was too young for the hormones as of yet, but at the age of 6, I got married behind the bushes of my elementary school. And, you know, I told him that we would have to wait until we grew up to kiss. I held to it. And so as I was growing older, I have to admit, okay, so I come off as a sensual, passionate, free love, supporting woman, but in actuality, in my own experience, I'm a prude. It wasn't until I was 15 that I had my first real kiss, and it was on the Sadie Hawkins hayride. I knew, like, towards the end of the hayride that I had to make a move because he wasn't. And I'm 15. Time's a wasted. So, you know, I pounced and I scored my first kiss. Wasn't that great? You know, years later, in high school at 17, I fell in love with Patrick. And he was a photojournalist. He worked both on the newspaper staff and the yearbook staff. And I was editor of the yearbook. So we made a perfect pair. In the dark room, we would make out before, during, after classes, you name it. Got lots of practice. And, you know, it was convenient because in our high school, we had separate wings for, you know, different things. And one wing was the gymnasium and the journalism classes and the dark room. I had keys to it because, you know, I'm yearbook editor, so. So that made weekends our dark room, our go-to spot. Until Skippy the janitor walked in on us. Skippy was a cool dude, really, but did not appreciate finding us there. And, you know, we tried our best to stay as a couple. We got fake engaged on our way out of town to go into our colleges. He went to Sewanee and I went to Tuscaloosa, U of A. And, you know, cried, so much crying. About 4 months into college, I get a Dear Jane letter. He tells me, you know, we tried to maintain this long distance relationship, you know, letters back and forth and phone calls. Anyone under the age of like 21, phone calls were very expensive. So it's hard to maintain. Anyway, 4 months later, I get a letter and it tells me that we had sinned before the eyes of God and that he did not have time for anything in his life but his college classes and God, not me. Let me tell you something. We had not sinned. That was to come years later. But my point being, young love, right? So anyway, in my college yearbook room, I cried, got over it. To follow came lots of, you know, relationships with coworkers and classmates and professors and, you know, as one does, you experiment. Nothing really serious until stupidity took hold and I confused love with lust and married a redheaded Army Ranger. Hoorah. You know, it was very short-lived. It was 16 months. It was a very turbulent, dramatic experience. And so instead of confronting me and telling me he did not want to be in the relationship, he cheated. And, you know, as dramatic as I am, that led to a knockdown drag out, which I think I've told at least 3 different versions of here. But anyway, suffice it to say, I ended my college years as a single woman. And and in those days, you could find me at most of the bars hustling pool in a really short skirt, you know, getting over a divorce at like 22. But, you know, then, you know, love being stupid, let me tell you, that first kiss from the bushes, that came back to bite me. The only difference in a 6-year-old me and a 60-year-old me is 3 feet and approximately 150 pounds. That's it. I was working in a bowling alley bar as the bartender, and a dude walks up to me and he says, "You owe me a kiss." And I was ready to give him a, you know, and come to find out, he recognized me 14 years later from the elementary school. Suffice it to say, he left alone and disappointed. But, you know, love is stupid when you're young. I'm here to tell you. That's it.
There we go, Jay. Keep it going for Shannon, everybody.